Sean Diddy Combs faced a judge again today, this time virtually, for a post-trial hearing. It comes less than a week after he was convicted on 2 of the 5 criminal charges in his sex trafficking and racketeering case. And now, all eyes turn to one date, October 3rd, a day that could decide not just his freedom, but the future of his entire empire. For months, the name Diddy has dominated headlines, not because of his music, not because of his legendary business moves, but because of the controversies that have wrapped around him like chains he can't break. On social media, in the news, even behind closed doors in the industry, his name is everywhere, and no one can look away. Some say this is the moment the empire begins to collapse. Others believe it's just the start of an unexpected reinvention. But one thing is undeniable. October 3rd is being marked as a turning point, a line in the sand between everything Diddy was and what Teva is about to become. Remember, this is the same Diddy who once stood at the peak of hip-hop, the man who shaped the sound of a generation, who mentored icons, and who built himself into a global mogul with power far beyond music. And yet, today, that same name is drowning in lawsuits, allegations, and a storm of scandal that refuses to fade. It feels unreal to witness how fast the tides have turned, how quickly the admiration of millions has shifted into suspicion, how an image once seen as untouchable now looks fragile, cracked, and on the verge of collapse. Diddy is no longer just a mogul. He's become a symbol of how fast power can vanish. Before we continue, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss updates like this. Now let's get back to it, because every headline, every leaked detail is pointing towards something bigger, something people believe will explode on October 3rd. Questions hang in the air, unanswered. Will the truth finally come out? Will his empire collapse beneath the weight of scandal? Or will he somehow find a way to survive the storm and rise again? These aren't just rumors anymore. They're the conversations consuming the industry. The world has watched powerful figures fall before, but rarely with this much tension, this much anticipation, and this much uncertainty. October 3rd could be the day everything changes. Not just for Diddy, but for everyone connected to him, his family, his empire, and the countless lives tied to his legacy. And as the countdown ticks closer, one thing is for sure. No matter what happens when that day arrives, nothing will ever be the same. The rise, the fall, and now, the reckoning of Diddy. Diddy's story has always been larger than life. Long before the scandals, long before October 3rd became the date everyone is watching, he was a definition of ambition. From the streets of Harlem, he rose and turned himself into a cultural force, shaping not just music, but fashion, business, and the very idea of success itself. At his peak, he wasn't just a producer or a rapper. He was the architect of an empire, the man who could take unknown talent and turn them into superstars. His label, Bad Boy Records, wasn't just music, it was dominance. His collaborations, his reinventions, his business plays, they made him untouchable. Think about it. Hip-hop's golden eras, they carry his fingerprints. He was a man on the MIC, the man behind the curtain, and the man cashing the checks. From Sean John clothing to Ciroc vodka to Revolt TV, every corner of the industry bore his stamp. Diddy wasn't chasing culture. He was creating it. Fans saw him as the unstoppable mogul, the one who stayed relevant when others faded. But that's exactly why today feels so surreal. The man who built an empire bigger than music now finds himself surrounded by whispers that threaten to tear it all down. It's almost cinematic. The rise so spectacular, the empire so grand, and now the looming possibility of a downfall just as colossal. And yet, we can't forget, Diddy has always been a fighter. His career was built on surviving storms, outmaneuvering rivals, and rewriting the narrative when the world counted him out. That's why opinions are split. Some believe he'll find a way to spin this moment into survival. Others say this time is different. This storm is too big. Either way, the stakes have never been higher. And with October 3rd approaching, the weight of that date grows heavier every day. His legacy, once untouchable, now hangs by a thread. The man who went from Harlem hustle to global dominance now faces a possibility of being remembered as another fallen empire. But the storm isn't just coming, it's already here. The tension leading to October 3rd feels like clouds gathering on the horizon. And with every passing day, the thunder grows louder. Diddy's name has become a constant headline, and not for the reasons he'd want. The lawsuits stacking up on distractions. They are massive, high-profile cases, allegations of misconduct, questionable deals, stories from people once close to him. Piece by piece, the puzzle of his empire is being pulled apart. Social media has turned into a battlefield. On one side, loyal fans defend him, pointing to decades of success and generosity. On the other, critics claim the evidence is too heavy, the rumors too loud, and this time there's no escape. The hashtags, the viral posts, the endless commentary, it's all feeding into one chilling reality. October 3rd doesn't feel like a court date anymore. It feels like a countdown to Judgment Day. The industry itself is restless. Whispers of sealed documents, hidden testimonies, and secret meetings behind closed doors have turned into a steady drumbeat. Journalists sharpen their pens, preparing exposés that could rattle the very core of Diddy's empire. Even celebrities are split, some eerily silent, others dropping cryptic posts that only pour gasoline on the fire. The closer October 3rd gets, the more it feels like everyone knows something the public doesn't, and that truth is about to detonate. And then there's Diddy. His silence is more than words ever could. No fiery interviews, no desperate statements. Just careful, controlled appearances that fuel even more speculation. Is he preparing for the fight of his life? Or is he quietly watching an empire slip through his fingers? Every photo, every move, every rumor is dissected by millions, and every interpretation only adds to the suspense. This is no ordinary celebrity scandal. It's a defining moment, not just for hip-hop, not just for Hollywood, but for modern entertainment itself. The build-up has been relentless, the stakes monumental. October 3rd is a curtain call, the moment when what's been hidden finally steps into light. Whatever happens, it won't stop at Diddy. Shockwaves will ripple through every space where his influence has ever reached. The storm isn't coming. The storm is here. Behind the glitz of his name lies a wall of pressure no mogul can outrun. October 3rd isn't just a trending date. It's a day whispers, accusations, and buried truths collide in full public view. At the center stands not just Diddy the artist, not just Diddy the businessman, but Diddy the empire. An empire now under the microscope of investigators, lawyers, media, and the very industry he once dominated. Investigators circle like hawks. Court documents leak. Insider testimony emerges. Lawyers dig through evidence, lining up strategies like chess moves on a board. But this isn't a game. If Diddy loses, it won't just cost him reputation. It could dismantle decades of power brick by brick. And the courtroom isn't the only battlefield. The industry is shifting beneath him. Brands, executives, and partners once proud to stand beside him are stepping back, creating quiet distance. Some cut ties completely, pulling out of deals, pausing campaigns, deleting connections in silence. To the public it looks calm. But in business, silence usually means one thing: abandonment. And abandonment is fatal when your empire is built on influence. The media has sharpened its tone. Where once headlines glorified his parties, his deals, his larger-than-life persona, now they dig, investigate, and speculate on his downfall. Every article tightens the narrative. Every headline feels like a countdown. The spotlight hasn't just shifted. It's burning, exposing cracks that may never heal. And behind it all, financial pressure looms like a shadow. Lawsuits pile up. Investors hesitate. Partnerships pause. In industries like fashion, liquor, and media, where perception is everything, hesitation can bleed an empire dry. And right now, perception is the enemy. A single scandal can cost millions. But this is no ordinary scandal. October 3rd had become the line in the sand, the moment where investors, allies, and brands decide whether to stand beside Diddy or quietly walk away. And through it all, his silence echoes louder than any headline. His not defending himself publicly. His not firing back. His letting the world wonder. Is this the calm before he unleashes a powerful defense? Or is it the silence of a man whose options are running out? That uncertainty is gasoline on the fire, and it's why October 3rd feels less like a date, and more like an explosion waiting to happen. The legal system is watching. The industry is waiting. The public is counting down. Everything that once lifted Diddy, his power, his fame, His influence is now pressing down on him like a weight he can't escape. And when the moment comes, all of it will be tested under the harshest spotlight imaginable. This is the calm before the explosion. It's eerily quiet as October 3rd creeps closer. The noise around Diddy is deafening, yet beneath it all, there's a strange stillness, like the air before a storm rips through everything in its path. Headlines fire nonstop. Social chatter never slows. But Diddy himself remains a shadow, present, calculated, distant. To some, that silence is strength, proof he's preparing something massive. To others, it's the silence of a man who's out of moves. Inside the industry, the tension is suffocating. Artists who once screamed his name are suddenly mute. Careers he once built now stand at a crossroads, unwilling to betray him, but terrified to stand too close. Everyone is holding their breath, waiting to see if being linked to Diddy will be an asset or a curse when October 3rd arrives. Even casual fans can feel it. Something massive is coming. His businesses tell their own story. Revolt TV, liquor deals, fashion ventures, all of them in pause mode. No new campaigns. No bold launches. No loud announcements. For a man who built his empire on momentum and noise, this silence is unnatural. It's unsettling. It feels like the exact opposite of the Diddy the world once knew. And yet, even as he shrinks into the shadows, his presence is everywhere. Old interviews resurface. Old videos trend. Fans debate his legacy while critics sharpen their knives. And the questions grow louder. Were the signs always there? Did we celebrate an empire built on something darker? Nobody knows what October 3rd will bring. A revelation? A bombshell? A legal blow that shatters everything? Or a twist that only Diddy himself has been waiting to reveal? That uncertainty is the hook. It's why the world can't look away. Because when a man this powerful, this influential, this deeply embedded into culture stands on the edge of something so massive, everyone wants a front-row seat to watch him rise, or fall. The calm is here, but it's deceptive. Pressure builds like steam in a sealed chamber. And when October 3rd finally strikes, that calm will shatter, and nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever be the same again. October 3rd, the turning point. The whispers that haunted the weeks before have exploded into something the world can no longer ignore. For months, speculation ruled. But now the curtain has been pulled back, and what's been revealed has sent shockwaves through music, business, and culture. Diddy, once untouchable, now stands at the cliff's edge. Every choice, every secret, every move under fire. The turning point didn't arrive as a whisper. It came like a tidal wave. Court filings dropped. Testimonies surfaced. Headlines lit up like wildfire. What had once been rumor and speculation suddenly transformed into hard evidence, documented statements, and explosive revelations that painted a picture darker than anyone imagined. 4 years, Diddy cultivated an image of power, wealth, and untouchable success. But October 3rd shattered that narrative. The fractures in his empire weren't whispers anymore. They were undeniable, and many now believe they can never be repaired. Social media erupted instantly. Within minutes, his name trended worldwide. Some fans refused to believe it. Others reacted with anger, betrayal, or a grim sense of recognition. We knew this day was coming. The industry scrambled. Brands released statements. Partnerships distanced themselves. Lawyers worked overtime. Every corner of entertainment was buzzing. And for the first time in his career, Diddy wasn't controlling the story. The story was controlling him. But what makes October 3rd historic is its scale. This isn't one lawsuit. It isn't one accusation. It isn't one bad headline. October 3rd became the convergence point, the collision of years of hidden stories, legal battles, and whispered rumors into one undeniable reality. The empire that once looked invincible suddenly looked fragile. Business deals are at risk. Reputations are collapsing. And the golden image of Diddy, the mogul who seemed to turn everything he touched into gold, has been permanently stained. And yet, the world is split. For some, October 3rd is the end of Diddy as we knew him, the fall of a mogul, the collapse of a brand that once stood as a pinnacle of hip-hop ambition. But for others, this is just the beginning of another fight. They believe he'll dig in, wield his wealth and influence, and try to rewrite the story, maybe even claw his way back. But one truth is undeniable. Nothing will ever be the same. October 3rd has become a landmark, a dividing line in his life and career. The curtain has been pulled back. The world has seen too much. And history will remember this day as a moment everything changed. The dust is still settling. But one thing is clear. The world no longer looks at Diddy the same way. The shockwaves from October 3rd ripple through music, business, and culture. Fans, critics, insiders. Everyone is asking the same question. What comes next? In the immediate fallout, consequences pile up fast. Major brands quietly retreat, pulling ads and pausing campaigns. His face disappears from platforms where it once dominated. Business associates who once bragged about their ties to him are now silent. Even longtime allies in music hesitate, unsure if loyalty will cost them more than it protects. It's a silence that speaks louder than any headline. And for a man who built his empire on visibility, validation, and momentum, it may be the most painful blow of all. The public remains divided. Some call October 3rd the endgame, the implosion of a career too tainted to recover. Others argue this is just another transformation. After all, Diddy has been counted out before, and each time he found a way back. Could he do it again? Could he turn even this devastating moment into fuel for reinvention? One thing is certain, his legacy has already changed. The untouchable mogul no longer exists. October 3rd marked him permanently. Whatever happens next, there will always be an asterisk, a reminder of the day everything shifted. And for fans, that may be the hardest part. They grew up with his music, celebrated his hustle, admired his rise as proof that ambition could conquer anything. Now, they must reconcile the icon they love with the shadow surrounding his name. Some will never forgive, others will always defend. But none will ever look at him without remembering October 3rd.